Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hello everyone. So today we're going to proceed to our next subtopic of this chapter, which is the microorganisms and viruses. Okay, so by the end of this class, students should be able to identify the main characteristics of microorganisms and viruses, which are bacteria, protozoa, algae, fungi, and viruses. So what is microorganisms? Microorganisms are microscopic organisms that cannot be seen by the naked eye. So in order for us to see it, we need a microscope. And next is microorganisms are unicellular. And microorganisms can be divided into a few types. So as I mentioned earlier, we have 5 types of microorganisms, which are bacteria, protozoa, algae, fungi, and virus. So now we proceed to the first type of microorganism, which are bacteria. So bacteria do not have a nucleus due to the lack of nuclear membranes. Their genetic material exists in the form of chromosal tracts, DNA. It is free-floating inside the cytoplasm. This is also known as the nucleoid. And next, some bacteria have plasmid, which is a small DNA molecules that carry extra genes. This bacteria size is range from the 1 to 10 micrometer long. And bacteria also can exist as a single cell, a diploid, in filaments, chains, or clusters. And lastly, bacteria can exist in a few shapes, such as the coccus, Vibrio, Bacillus, and Spirillum. So now let's see the shapes of the bacteria. So we can see at the left side is coccus, and this one is Vibrio. And then this one is Bacillus, that is a rod or cylinder shape, and this species is named as Lactobacillus species. And this one is Spirillum, which has a shape of a spiral. Okay, now we move to the next type of microorganism, which is protozoa. Protozoa are animal-like unicellular microorganisms. Protozoa move around using pseudopodia, which is the false feet, cilia, or flagellum. These microorganisms usually found in aquatic habitats. Protozoa are heterotroph or autotroph. For example, Euglena species is an autotrophic protozoa with chloroplast that can undergo the photosynthesis process. Protozoa also can be free-living or parasitic. So here's the example of protozoa. So if we look closely, only Euglena species has the chloroplast. That is why it is called as the autotrophic protozoa, because it can undergo the photosynthesis process. Okay, before we proceed to algae, so far you guys understand, right? Okay, I assume you all understand. So we move to the algae. So algae consists of unicellular microorganisms like Chlamydomonas species and multicellular organisms such as the brown algae, which is the Fucus species. Some algae have a flagellum to move in water. Algae also have a chloroplast. And although algae have chloroplast, but they not look alike same as plants, because algae do not have leaf, stems, or roots like plants do. And lastly, algae live in ponds, lakes, and ocean. So here's the example of algae. As we can see, at the left side is Chlamydomonas, and this one is Fucus species. Okay, now let's proceed to the fungi. So fungi do not contain chlorophyll, thus fungi are heterotroph, either parasites or saprophytes. Fungi do not contain roots, stems, and leaves. Fungi have a cell walls that is created by the chitin, and it exists in the form of mycelium, which is made up of a network of threads called the hyphae. Okay, fungi also are unicellular microorganisms, such as the yeast that we use in the dough to make a bread, and multicellular organism, which is the mucor species. Okay, now let's see. Okay, at the left side, we can see here yeast, and at the right side is mucor species. Okay, we can see, right, the hyphae at the mucor species is at the bottom of this microorganism. Okay, now let's proceed to the last type of microorganism, which is virus. So viruses are not included in any of the kingdoms because they are not cellular organisms. The virus does not carry out any life process outside of a cell because virus reproduce using the living cells by injecting their genetic materials into host cells. Viruses are made up of nucleic acid, which is DNA or RNA, and capsids made from the protein. The size of a virus is too small, around 20 nanometer to 400 nanometer. Therefore, virus cannot be seen using a light microscope but can only be seen using an electron microscope. So as we can see in the screen, the example of virus, which are influenza virus and bacteriophage virus. Okay, I think that's all for today. From our session, I think after we have discussed about this subtopic, I think all of you can list down the main characteristic of the microorganisms and also label the part of the microorganisms. Okay, before we end our class, for the homework, I have assigned for you the task that you need to do in the Google Classroom. You may check it later. I hope you all can do it well and don't forget to submit it on time, okay? Okay, so I think that's all for today class. So see you in the next class, okay? Okay, thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. How are you guys doing?
Hi,
Waalaikumsalam,
teacher.
teacher.
Waalaikumsalam, teacher.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay. How are you guys doing? Fine?
Fine.
I'm doing great, teacher.
Okay, very good. Do you have your lunch already?
Already, teacher.
Yes.
Okay, what do you have for lunch?
Asam pedas. Fried chicken.
Okay, so for your information, lunch is very important for you because you need energy for our class today. Unless you are going to sleep. So don't sleep in my class, okay?
Okay, teacher.
Teacher.
So, for today, I will replace Mr. Amiro since he got MC. Okay? So, before we start, I would like to ask you what you have learned last week. Anyone?
Yes, teacher. Last week we learned about microorganism.
Okay, you learn about microorganism. So, how many types of microorganism that we have?
5.
Five. Very good, everyone. So, what is it?
Bacteria.
Fungi.
Protozoa.
Algae.
Fungi.
Virus.
Okay, we have 5 microorganisms: bacteria, protozoa, algae, fungi, and viruses. So, what do you think of microorganism? Is it bad or good?
Can I answer your question?
Yes, Raiha, you may.
In my opinion, some bacteria may be good and some bacteria might be not good to us as a human. Why I'm saying the bacteria is not good? Since it can causes disease to a human. And why I'm saying that some bacteria is good? Because some bacteria can be used in a fermentation process. That's my opinion, teacher.
Okay, very good, Raiha. Can we give applause to Raiha? Okay, very good. Okay, it can be bad and it can be good for us. Okay, so now, have you heard about pathogen or vector? Anyone?
Teacher,
Mm,
I think pathogen is one of the virus. Is it?
Are you sure? Pathogen is virus?
I think pathogen is microorganism.
Microorganism. Any other answer?
me,
No.
I think pathogen is parasites.
Parasites. Wow, we've got a lot of answers. Okay, so pathogen and vector. We will cover the topic later. Okay, so in this learning objective, by the end of this class, students should be able to define the pathogens and vectors and also identify the effects of pathogen towards humans' health. Okay, so yes, this is the definition of pathogen and vector. So basically, pathogen is the microorganism that can cause disease. For example, like virus, bacteria, protozoa, and also fungi. Meanwhile, for the vector, it is organism which carry the pathogen from an infected individual to another. For example, like mosquitoes, flies, cockroaches, and also infected wild animals. Okay, so do you get it? What is pathogen and what is vector?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, very good. So before we proceed to the next slide, any question?
No, teacher.
No.
So far, no,
Okay.
teacher.
Okay, very good. Awesome. Okay, this is the example of the virus. Okay, as you can see, virus is very unique structure. Okay, and then this is the bacteria. Okay, and this is protozoa. And then the last one is fungi. So now let's move on to the effects of pathogens on humans' health. Okay, as we all know just now, pathogen have four types: virus, bacteria, protozoa, and also fungi. We will go one by one. For the first pathogen is virus, human papillomani virus. Okay, HPV. Okay, this is the structure of the HPV. Okay, so the disease from the HPV is sexually transmitted disease and also the cervix cancer. As symptoms for the HPV, we can see the warts on hand, skin, irregular blood spotting after period, and also the postmenopausal bleeding. Okay, HPV basically can be infected through sex or skin to skin contact. You understand?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Okay. So the second one is bacteria.
Bacteria.
Bacteria. Okay. So the pathogen name is Salmonella. Okay. This is the structure of the Salmonella. Disease for the bacteria is the food poisoning. Okay. The symptoms can be vomiting, diarrhea, fever, abdominal cramp, and also headache. Okay. It can be affected through contaminated food. If your friends had a food poisoning, so you can tell them, oh, you have salmonella in your stomach. Next pathogen, it is protozoa. It can cause disease malaria. Okay, the symptom is shrivel and then followed by the fever and also headache. And then the skin will become yellowish. The method of infection, it will be bitten by female mosquito.
Mosquito.
And then the last one is
Fungi.
Fungi.
Very good. So what is the
Fungi.
pathogen for
Yeah.
fungi?
Tinea.
Tinea.
Tinea species.
Tinea. Yeah. Okay, and then the disease is ringworm. Okay. The symptom is a small erythematous papules will present at the periphery, and then it will enlarge with the presence of central clearing like. Okay, so the method of infection is through skin to skin contact. Okay, and done. Okay, we have done with our topic. We let you guys to do a presentation about coronavirus. Can you do that?
Oh,
Can,
yes.
teacher.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
teacher.
very good. Okay, so now I will give you 20 minutes for you to gather information and discuss among yourself. And then after 20 minutes, we will start the presentation. So your time starts now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, time's up, everyone. Okay, so are you guys ready to present?
Yes,
Ready?
Yes,
teacher.
teacher.
Ready.
Okay, let's see the first group.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Okay, thank you Teacher Diana for the opportunity for us to present the topic today. So our group will like to present a topic about the COVID-19 disease. So without further ado, we proceed to our presentation. So nowadays, COVID-19 can be categorized as a common disease since we have been hit for the past 2 years. Coronavirus disease is a contagious disease caused by the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 or SARS-CoV-2. The first known case was identified in Wuhan, China in December 2019. The disease has since spread worldwide, leading to an ongoing pandemic. In February 2020, researchers from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, WIV, published an article in the journal Nature explaining a virus extracted from bats matched over 96% similar to the SARS-CoV-2. It says that this virus that caused the COVID-19 pandemic. One of them, Shi Zhengli, said that 96.2% genomic similarity of RATG113 might make it the closest virus to the SARS-CoV-2. However, the 3.8% difference in the genome sequence is a significant difference for coronavirus. Now, I pass this presentation to my next presenter.
Okay. The first cases in Malaysia were confirmed among travelers from China in Johor via Singapore on 25 January 2020 and continue to be limited to a few imported cases until March 2020. When several local clusters emerged, the total number of cases in Malaysia has increased about 2,776,699 with 2,705,292 were recovered and 36,628 died. Malaysia once achieved zero for the local case in July 2020. However, the attitude some Malaysians for not following SOP has made the case rise until today. For the next slide, I will pass it to Khalida.
Okay, I will explain the method of infection. Okay, COVID-19 disease transmit when people breathe in air contaminated by the droplets and small airborne particles that contain the virus. The risk of breathing is the highest when people are in the close proximity, but they can be inhaled over longer distances, like particularly indoors. So transmission can also occur if splashes or spray with the contaminated fluids in the eyes, nose, mouth, and rarely via contaminated surfaces. So people will remain contagious for up to 20 days and can spread the virus even if they do not develop the symptoms. So now let's proceed to Reha.
Okay, thank you, Khalida. For the symptoms of COVID-19 disease are variable, ranging from mild symptoms to severe illness. Basically, common symptoms include headache, loss of smell, anosmia, and taste ageusia, nasal congestion and runny nose, cough, muscle pain, sore throat, fever, diarrhea, and breathing difficulties. There are also people with the same infection, but they may have different symptoms and their symptoms may change over time. There are three common clusters of symptoms have been identified. The first one is respiratory symptom cluster, which have cough, sputum, shortness of breath, and fever. Next, a musculoskeletal symptom cluster with muscle and joint pain, headache, and fatigue. The last one is a cluster of digestive symptoms with abnormal pain, vomiting, and diarrhea. In people without prior ear, nose, and throat disorders, loss of taste combined with loss of smell is associated with COVID-19 and is reported in as many as 88% of cases. For the next slide, I will pass it to Farhana.
Okay, moving to the prevention, there are several prevention that can be followed in order to stop the transmission of virus. Firstly, always make sure that your hand is clean by washing hand with water or by using hand sanitizer. Next, wearing face mask if you are going outside or gather in the public place. Other than that, avoid crowded places and keep your distance with others. Furthermore, register for the vaccination also can prevent the virus to be spread. Lastly, please quarantine yourself if you are contagious and get further treatment from the health administrators. That's all from us. Thank you.
Wow, that's good, everyone. Good job.
Yay!
Okay, thank you for the first group. Okay, your presentation was excellent. Okay, there's a lot of information that we can get from the presentation. We can know more about the coronavirus symptom, how to prevent. Okay, and the presenter is also very good, fluent. Okay, thank you for everyone for participate in the activity. Okay, we have done with our topic. Okay, so anyone can summarize for the whole topic that we have been discovered. Anyone? Okay, so first, what we have learned about? We have learned about the definition of
Pathogen
pathogen
and vector.
and vector. So what is pathogen? Anyone?
Microorganisms that
Pathogen can cause. Yes,
Very good.
diseases.
Vector?
Vector is
Carry
carry
the disease.
pathogen.
Yes, it is the organism that carry the pathogen. Okay, so how many types of pathogen that we have?
4.
Four. Very good. What is it, Khalida?
Virus.
Okay, and then?
Bacteria, protozoa, and fungi.
Yes, very good. Awesome. From the topic that we have learned today, I'm pretty sure that you guys can know the definition of the pathogen and vector. Okay, and students can also identify the effect of pathogen in human health. That's all for our class today. Before that, I would like you guys to do a mind mapping regarding to our topic today. Please do the simplest one and then submit it Google Classroom by Friday. Okay?
Okay, teacher.
Is there any question?
Thank you, teacher.
No.
Any question? No?
So far, no, teacher.
Okay, very good. And if you have a question, you can ask me directly or PM me or WhatsApp me, okay? Okay,
Okay,
I think
teacher.
that's all for today. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.
Teacher.
Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher. Take care, teacher.